So last year, a friend of mine called me up and said, "Hey, there's a new couple that met." I'm addressing this because I was kind of surprised. I've recently been accused of not wanting out of towners here, but a friend of mine called me up and said, "Hey, there's a new couple really into Gloucester. They want you to row them at their wedding." And I said, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Well, they're getting married over at Niles Beach. You can row them across the harbor from Niles down to their new home on Middle Street across town." So I was like, "I guess I'll do that." They said, "Yeah, well, they want to donate to the International Dory Race Committee." So I said, "Sure, I'll do it." I love that they love Gloucester. So as their wedding date got near, they were forecast for heavy rains and squalls. So I called the guy up. I go, "You sure these new people are, Dory's a fishing boat. It's tippy. Oh no, they love Gloucester. They really want to do it." So I rode over to Niles Beach and I picked them up. And as soon as the sun held out until just when they got in the boat, we got about 10 yards off the beach, and it started downpouring. And the wind picked up, and I swear to God, it was blowing 20, 25. I was trying to stay cool, keep the boat, because as the water get in the boat, there's weight shifts, and and these people weren't familiar with dories, and I'm like, I'm going to kill these people. Because the wind would literally come up to 2020. There was a squall that came down, it was blowing a gale, and they were smiling the whole time. They loved it. And it was pouring rain. He held the umbrella over his bride. So it's delightful that I haven't seen him since. But here they show up tonight to support Gloucester, and they're kind of people that love Gloucester, and he wants to say a couple of words.
Hey, anybody who says Jimmy's not a poet, we were out in the middle of the water there, and not only was it squalling, but he mentioned the fact that he forgot to say it also started to hail. So this is 3rd of July, hail's falling all over the place, the sky is black, the hail's hitting the water and sending up these little white drops bouncing back up out of the water, and Jimmy looks, "Look, a sea of diamonds for your wedding." Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, my name's Nathaniel Mulcahy. I come with 3 perspectives for you. I grew up half in Massachusetts, half in Italy. My parents are both, my father's name is Mulcahy, my mother is Gabriella Maria Piera Beatrice Bergamini, so very Italian. My wife and I were looking for a place to set down roots. This is as close across as you can come to the New World and Old World in one location. So from a cultural perspective, Gloucester is magic. I'm also a businessman, and I had a good business in Italy. I was needing to expand it. Italy is great for startup, but unless you're Silvio Berlusconi, it's not so great for a business. Gloucester was one of the many, many cities that we looked at to set up our new business and move everything that we had in Italy. It's an international business. We've done work in 13 different countries. Move it back to this country, creating new jobs here. One of the things that's not been mentioned tonight is Gloucester is one of the few certified Eastern Coast green cities. It was certified 2 years ago as a green city. It's a huge accomplishment. You should be getting a lot of mileage out of that. It's one of the main reasons we moved back here. And it's another classic example of why we had to move back here, because it is a marine industrial zone. My business, while primarily humanitarian engineering, requires a component of marine industrial, and there is no other place, 0 other places in the United States that are both green and marine industrial. There is not one other place in the whole country. So that's creation of new jobs, and to the town's credit, they made a big effort to say, yeah, Ipswich is nice, yeah, Salem's nice, but come here, we're better. So let's make Gloucester live up to those promises. Now, I leave you with a cautionary note. Because of my work, I've traveled all over Africa, I've worked in Haiti, I've worked in Mexico. One of the things that you see everywhere is land grabbing. Google it, just Google it, and it's talked about everywhere. In Tanzania, 700 villages were promised a new hospital, better roads, new schools. Sound vaguely familiar? those 700 villages were taken off their land. The hospitals never came, the schools never came, and nor did the roads, except for one really big one used just to take all the resources from that country out of the country. So it's not just Africa. There is that same problem here. What you're seeing here, what everybody's been talking about, is land grabbing. So Anne's told it, Suzanne's told it, there are millions of jobs that you could create in here. And that's not an exaggeration, because the ripple effects from one small town setting the example can be heard throughout the country. So if you take the Marine Industrial, you take the Green City Initiative, you take the examples of Denmark, where they took the small island and converted it to the first green island that produces its own power. They have more tourist money because they're a green island than they will ever get from any hotel that comes into it. My wife and I took a walk today at lunchtime, beautiful day. How nice to have President's Day off and be able to stroll down Main Street. They're talking about, we need new stores, we need a hotel. We counted no fewer than 24 vacant stores. We do not need new stores. And that's on a short walk. They are beautifully restoring the antique hotel just outside the town here. They are building the Holiday Inn Express over by the crossing, big sign hanging up there now. They permitted another hotel on the wetland. But, so, do we really need another hotel with 3 in construction right now? There is the underutilized tavern that you can actually see from here, which is essentially a hotel that nobody ever stays in. So you have a lot of things already here. So not reinvent it, just improve what we already have. And thank you for letting us come into this town and putting down roots.
I was really hoping he would talk a little more about the Dory ride, how I kept the course, it was blowing, but that's all right. You gave a very educating us. Thank you for educating us on